How many times has your client done this at the top of a press where everything is nice and controlled, they're feeling it in their chest through most of the range, but for whatever reason they start to get to the top and everything looks like this shrug protraction thing? Well, I've had many clients who have done this in the past, and there's actually a really simple and easy fix that you can use on any kind of free weight press or even any kind of machine press. Just first, real quick, we need to understand that it's not that this motion is a bad thing or that it's inherently going to injure someone. It's more just like, okay, if our goals with a press are to train the chest and the delt muscles, then we really want to use a technique that will prioritize those muscles. And so this shrugging forward thing happening during the press, at least toward the top, is not only something that takes tension away from those muscles, but makes it harder to recapture the technique that we're after through the rest of the range of motion. So here's why this happens, and here's how we need to fix it. So when someone lies down and they are grabbing a free moving implement like a barbell, or they're pressing against basically anything that's just pushing their arms backward, right? The force of this bar is just trying to shove my shoulders backward, and it's trying to push my arms and my forearms downward like this. The natural tendency is for people to just think up. I'm just going to push the bar up. But I want you all to look at motion of this upper arm bone, okay? Just picture, okay, here's the line of the upper arm. What it's actually gonna do is it's gonna pivot outward like this, and then it's gonna go downward toward the floor, right? And so in the bottom portion of the range, you picture that your upper arm is basically just a lever that is in essence pushing your hand upward toward the ceiling. From here to here, motion of this bone is pretty much upward. That's how it's pivoting. But in this top half of the motion, do you all see now how the upper arm bone goes from moving upward toward the ceiling to now inward toward the top, right? So I'll do this one more time. You go down, okay, I look at my elbow, it's going down. But now what happens is my arm, my entire upper arm pivots inward toward my chest. So if your client is just constantly thinking upward, right, they are not actually capturing that inward trajectory of the arm. Okay, so what we need to get our clients to focus on as they're approaching the top of the press is not continually shoving forward as they do in the bottom. It's actually shoving inward toward the top, okay? So when we apply this to an actual pressing scenario, again, rather than just randomly telling your client, okay, I want you to just push the bar up and just see what happens, again, because this is the thing that's going to create that loss of position, we need to just have them set their shoulders comfortably where they are, lower the bar down to wherever is comfortable for them. And then again, as they approach this top position, basically from here upward, they should be thinking, drive the elbows inward toward the top, inward toward one another. Because again, if they're just haphazardly pushing upward, my upper arm isn't moving upward at this point, it's actually moving inward. Again, hopefully you all are seeing that quite clearly. So if someone is thinking up, because the upper arm can't actually continue to move the bar upward, at least not to any significant degree, what's gonna happen is they're gonna start to do this, and they're gonna start to do this weird shruggy protraction thing. And so overall, what we want to emphasize, two things. Number one is coaching and moving through the elbow, okay, because that is a huge part of this process, which is just getting people to understand, okay, where are my elbows actually moving? Again, from that sort of forward thing to that inward thing. And then the second thing is just getting people to recognize that the motion in essence starts out as this forward thing and then becomes this horizontal thing. Now, if you're struggling to actually teach this to a client, one of the easiest ways to get them to actually learn what this is supposed to feel like is by using a different implement and a different technique altogether to teach them how to do this reactively through the force of the scenario. So here's what I mean. If you take two cables and you have your client stand, say, in the middle of a cable stack or wherever is accessible, and you have them squeeze their arms inward together like this, they will know exactly what this action of bringing the arms inward and leading with the elbows toward one another, the biceps toward one another, is supposed to feel like. Because now they have no choice but to drag the arms inward as they keep their chest in that same position against a load of a cable. Now, you could simply just integrate this technique and this whole conversation into an actual exercise, like having them actually go through a cable chest fly, say, before they get to a press. And then you say to them, hey, Jimmy, remember that thing that we were just doing in that cable fly where you were squeezing your elbows inward together, you weren't pushing your arms out in front of you? Oh, yes, Jimmy will say, yes, that felt good, that felt great on my chest. Hey, we're just gonna mimic that exact same thing in the context of a press. And once the client has that technique down, guess what? They're gonna be able to do it on really any implement, no matter what technique you're using. So this same exact concept will apply to any dumbbell press. Why? Because even though the weights are traveling with your arms are still pivoting upward at this point and then inward at this point. If you found this video helpful, check the link in the description. I have an online personal trainer course that is dedicated specifically to coaches who want to take the confusion out of coaching their clients forever and instantly. This course will teach you everything from the basic physics and anatomy of the human body to how to actually apply all that information on the gym floor with every kind of motion that you can imagine. There's currently a few more days left on the May bundle sale, so check that out and grab that while you can.